Hi, everyone. Welcome to the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, Aggie Advising, Get to Know Your Major and College. We are super excited that you're here today. My name is Tracy Dieslin. I work as an academic advisor in undergraduate academic programs, which is part of the Dean's Office. And I'm here with Bianca. Bianca, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Bianca. I work in the Entomology Advising Office as an advisor for undergraduate students.
Hey, thanks, Bianca. We are just so excited that you made time to be here today. Congratulations on your acceptance to UC Davis. Congratulations on starting the wonderful entomology program at UC Davis. We hope that this webinar gives you a lot of really great information as you navigate your first year coming to Davis. So we're going to go ahead and just go through a couple of pieces as we navigate being on Zoom. And so before we get started, just a couple things. So Zoom is a webinar platform that we're using. You probably want to play around with it a little bit. And so just so you know, as attendees, your video is completely off and you are muted, but you can definitely use the chat function to ask questions. So definitely encourage you to ask questions. We have some advising staff behind the scenes that are going to be answering those questions. And so please feel free to chime in if there's anything you want to ask as we're going through the webinar today. And then the focus of the webinar is really to get you acclimated to college, really help you learn about the major, the entomology program, figure out what you're going to be doing your first quarter at Davis, which I'm sure you all are very, have a lot of questions about. We'll have some time for Q&A at the end, and please don't worry, we will post this webinar online. So within the next day or so. So if you have anything that you wanted to go back to and you're like, shoot, I forget what they said at that part, we will have this available as a recording and we will post it online. So you'll have access to that. So with that, we are going to go ahead and turn our cameras off. And move along, and we are still here, but we're going to just have the focus be on the presentation. And so we're going to have our cameras off right now and kind of go through and get you acclimated. And so like we said before, we both work within the College of Agricultural and Environmental Science Dean's Office. I support students through really, when they express interest to coming to UC Davis, all the way through graduation. So sometimes students come to see me in my office, in the dean's office, because they, are thinking about adding a minor, or they want to learn about internship opportunities, or they have a question about their classes. And so the dean's office is a really good place to go if you have any kind of those general questions. One fun fact about myself, I lived in Central America in Nicaragua for 2 years when I graduated from college, from undergrad. So that was a really meaningful experience, and I was a Peace Corps volunteer. So it's kind of a fun fact about me. I'm going to now introduce Bianca. Bianca, do you want to share how you support students?
Yes, that's a very fun fact about you, Tracy. Good to know. I work as a major advisor, so in the entomology advising office. So if you have questions that are specific to the entomology major, we are the people to go to, the major advisors. We can help you with setting up academic plans. So we will meet with you one-on-one this summer as you prepare for fall quarter. And we are going to set up classes with you. If you have any questions about how the entomology program will fit into your future career, we can also kind of help you and direct you to different faculty, different programs that we have on campus for entomology students. So more focused on entomology specifically, you can come to us and ask any questions. We're happy to help you all. And one fun fact about me is last summer, I went swimming with whale sharks, and it was an incredible experience.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I don't even know what a whale shark is, but I need to Google that. That sounds absolutely incredible. So fun, so fun. So if you get to meet with Bianca this year, which you all will, you'll see her either online or in the office. Ask her about that, because that sounds pretty cool. And hopefully she has some pictures to share. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to focus now on your College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences network of support. So at UC Davis, you have a wealth of support. You have people like Bianca and myself who really work hard to be there for you as you navigate your first year at a large research institution. And so as a student was within the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, we wanted to really touch upon a couple of different areas of support. And so starting with major advisors. So like Bianca mentioned, they are really the expert in your program of study. So they can help you determine what kinds of classes you take, during your time at Davis, help you connect with the faculty that work in their department. A lot of our faculty are doing really amazing and interesting research. They can guide you through and connect you if you have something you want to explore. Then connecting with your major advisor is a great way to really get to know the faculty in your department. There might be research opportunities or internship opportunities available in the department. And your major advisor, you really want to make time and space to meet with them at least once a year is what I recommend, to look at your academic plan, talk about how things are going, and really partner with them on how you want to spend your time at UC Davis within the major. The dean's office is where I work. And so undergraduate academic programs dean's office is also a great place to explore those university, general education, and college requirements. So as a student, you have your university requirements to complete, your College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences requirements to complete, and then your major requirements to complete. And if you're coming in as a transfer student, you might think, I think I did a lot of these university and general ed classes at the community college. Check in with us, make sure that we have all of that on record. And so you don't have to navigate this alone. We want you to know that we're really here for you in the dean's office to help you articulate all the wealth of college policies and procedures, a lot of which do support you. And just any general questions. If you want to try to get connected to resources on campus, we can definitely support you with that. Peer advisors are students that are either in the major, like entomology, or students in any major within the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. So these are students that are going to they're going to know like what kinds of classes to take. They can tell you some of the GEs that they did that they really liked. They can, kind of answer some general questions about getting settled at UC Davis, and they're really, really, really useful resources. Sometimes students find it a little bit less intimidating to start with a peer advisor, meet with a peer advisor, get to know, a student in the college or in the major before they then meet with their major advisor, a dean's office advisor. And then last but not least, we want to talk about your faculty advisors. And so these are students who, sorry, not students, they were students at one point in time. These are faculty, your professors that are teaching your classes, whether in the major or across campus. And they really are the first person we want you to go to if you're having any kind of difficulty in a course. So we want you to go to your professors, go to your faculty, and like I mentioned before, the major advisors can really help you get connected to faculty specific in your department. So within the college level, you have a wealth of support. We want you to know that you are truly not alone, and you can utilize any and all of these great resources.
Yes, and kind of continuing with the theme that Tracy is talking about, you having a lot of support. We're going to put some faces to those titles that we just talked about. As I said before, I'm Bianca. I'm a major advisor in entomology. Another advisor you might meet with pretty often is Elvira. And here on the left, we have on the picture Dr. Steve Nadler and Dr. Sharon Lawler. And they are both professors in entomology, so they both serve kind of like as faculty advisors that Tracy mentioned before, where you can go to explore entomology career options. You can go to ask about course difficulty, and you want to ask about what courses to take if you want to do this specific career and things like that. They love talking to students about entomology. This is their life's work. Dr. Nadler is a department chair. So he's a chair for the entomology and nematology department. So he's involved in research in that department and also the graduate and undergraduate programs. Dr. Sharon Lawler is a master advisor for entomology students. So she is very much a faculty advisor. She loves meeting with students. She welcomes your questions. So you will probably meet with her throughout your time here at Davis as a student. So these are some of the faces to that team that we just talked about. And now getting into what you've all been waiting for, let's talk about the entomology major. And I'm going to throw a little challenge for you all. This butterfly in the background is a specific butterfly, and if you know what kind of butterfly this is, put it in the chat and we'll see if you're correct. You're entering an entomology major, so we'll see. This is like your intro quiz, and we'll see who gets it right. So the entomology major, butterflies are included in what you study, but in a broader sense, we look at nematodes, insects, and spiders, and just scientific fundamental questions about these organisms, as well as how they are associated with plants, microbes, other animals in their environment, in their space. So you'll learn about their biology, specifically to insect, spiders, and nematodes, but also their associations. And you will also learn practical applications, which is very neat. One of the examples of that is pest management. You can take a whole course on how entomology ties into agriculture and the environment, which is very fitting for a university that's in Central California. That is a very agricultural place in the United States. So you get to learn practical applications to real life as well. Here are some of the outcomes that you can expect to have at the end of your journey as an entomology student at UC Davis. As I said, you'll have a foundation of the biology of insects, also nematodes and spiders. You'll have an understanding of how evolution formed and diversified these insects. You will also learn how to do all sorts of things with scientific communication. You'll learn to read it, interpret it, you'll learn how to communicate it yourself. You'll learn how to design a study and then actually perform the study that you design and also analyze the results. You will do this in classes, you can do this in research internships that you can get in the university. And then also understand how organisms are distributed and their abundance in the environment as well. So these are just some broad outcomes. So with that, what can I do with this major? It seems like a broad wealth of knowledge, but what can you do with it? Well, students can work in government agencies. There are plenty of opportunities for students to work in like the state or county departments. Sometimes they have preventive programs where entomology students can go in and they can provide their expertise on insects that transmit diseases or nematodes that are affecting agriculture, etc. You can, obviously, with this very strong scientific foundation, you can work in research and teaching, whether in an academic setting or you can do research in an industry setting. You can go into forensics. We do have a course on forensic entomology. That's a pretty fun course, I hear. You can also do public health work, kind of along the lines of the government work that I was mentioning earlier. You can do consulting work. You can work in conservation. You can work in environmental health, environmental science. There's just so many options for you. And we highly encourage you to talk to your faculty advisors, either the professors you've had in classes, or talk to Dr. Sharon Lawler. Talk to us, major advisors, ask us where previous students have gone. There's so many opportunities, and encourage you to explore broadly. So here are some sample schedules for your first quarter. Again, as I mentioned before, we will meet with you one-on-one, so we'll be able to kind of specialize this to you and your interests and your background. But as a sample, freshmen or first-year students will usually take chemistry and math, and placement exams are important for this, and you will learn about this in Aggie 101 if you haven't completed that yet. And then we like to put our entomology students in one of our lower division entomology courses so that you get an intro to what entomology is like at UC Davis. So you can pick from these two courses depending on what interests you more. And then first year seminars are just a great way for you to interact with other first year students and find your community. There's so many different topics that you can explore. So these are the courses that our first year or freshman students take. And I will emphasize even more for transfers that this is a sample schedule, and it really depends on what you have done at the previous college that you attended, and depending if you've finished all the series, etc. And we will talk about that when we have our one-on-one meeting. But as a sample, you might be able to take genetics your first quarter, a general entomology course, again, kind of an intro to entomology at UC Davis, statistics if you haven't taken it yet, and then entomology 297N is a seminar, it's a graduate seminar in our entomology and nematology department, and it gives you an overview of different research that's going on in the department. So it's a really cool way to see what other people are doing within entomology. And it usually gets students really excited about entomology, so we like to put that in their first quarter so they're excited about the major they're going into. So we've gone through all that information. What happens now? Well, now you're going to prep for that one-on-one meeting that we've been mentioning, Aggie Advising. If you have not completed Aggie 101 yet, please complete that. As I mentioned, it will talk about placement exams for chemistry and math, which are specifically important for first year or freshman students. Once you've completed that, then you head over to OASIS. You can access this through the My UC Davis portal. You'll complete the Aggie Advising Prep questionnaire. And the only reason we ask you to do that is just so we can make the most out of our one-on-one time together. If you do this questionnaire, we kind of have a better idea of how to guide you during a 30-minute session. And then you'll also check your Pass 1 time on Schedule Builder. You will all have a specific time and date where you can register for classes, so it's important that you go and check that, put it on your calendar. And last but not least, in July, we're going to have an entomology workshop, and we'll send you out links and information on how to register for this, but this will be an opportunity for you to get together with other entomology majors that are coming in, get to know the entomology club maybe, get to know some of our department advisors, and maybe some of our faculty as well. So it'll be an intimate space for you to ask questions and get to know each other. So keep an eye out for an email about that. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to take a screenshot if you would like to, so you can have this list with you before moving on to the next one, where we'll talk a little bit more about Aggie Advising. So this is how you make an Aggie Advising appointment. You go to appointments.ucdavis.edu. That's our appointment system. Your appointments will be available from June 21st to July 31st. And the appointments will open today after this webinar. So after the webinar, if you're ready, completed Aggie 101, you're ready to do an appointment, you can head over to this website and make an appointment with us. And just a little note here for you, first year or freshman students will register for their classes on August 2nd to 4th. Again, you will have a specific date and time, but that's the window where first year freshman students are registering. For transfers, that's 2 weeks later, August 16th through 18th. So if you don't know specifically what your date is yet, maybe just block all of those in your calendar. Just make sure you can register for your classes on time. And here are some last tips for you. Take interest in classes. Like I mentioned, entomology seminar. That's a course that we usually give to transfers in their first quarter, but if you're not a junior standing yet, you are still welcome to take that course, explore the research that our department is doing. Career discovery groups are really great ways to also explore career options in what fits your interests, what fits your skill sets, and also get involved with different outside of class things. You know, entomology club is a huge fun thing that entomology students love to get involved with. And we also have first year Aggie Connections and the first year seminars that I mentioned earlier. Those are great ways to get to know people with similar interests that maybe aren't academic interests, like knitting or biking, things like that. And also look for opportunities. You're at a research university, you're probably going to be overwhelmed with opportunities, but we encourage you to look at those carefully and just find opportunities that appeal to you and just try them out. See if you can increase your skill set or you can nurture some of those interests that you have. One of the programs that we have in our department is the Research Scholars Program in Insect Biology. That's mostly for entomology students. So we encourage you to look at that. We will send out more information throughout this summer. And with that, I'm going to pass it over back to Tracy to tell us a little bit more about how to get involved with the college.
Yes, thank you, Bianca. Wow, it sounds like just so many great pieces of information there that Bianca shared in terms of getting involved with the major and the kinds of classes you'll take. And I know it can feel overwhelming. We want to remind you that we will post a recording of this presentation so you can go back and check in on some pieces you wanted to revisit. So now that we've kind of covered entomology and covered all those things to expect in the fall, we want to kind of bring you back to the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences and just share some ways that you can get connected with your advisor sort of outside of that one-on-one advising appointment. And so we do encourage you to get involved with the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. There are so many ways to do this during your time at UC Davis, and not just your first quarter. So you have plenty of time. And the Undergraduate Academic Programs Dean's Office offers really fun activities and opportunities for new students to engage with our staff and with your peers. And so the Aggie Ambassadors Program gives students a chance to participate in community service and also outreach while promoting our college. So there's a picture there of our Aggie ambassadors on the top corner. Then that particular photo, the Aggie ambassadors are participating in an outreach to high school students at the Future Farmers of America event. So smiles all across the board, having a really fun time there representing the college. In the Career Discovery Group program, new College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences students can get a head start in exploring different career paths with the guidance of a campus mentor. So we definitely encourage you to register for career discovery groups in the fall, either coming in as a transfer student and or as a freshman. So there's different sections depending on if you're a freshman or transfer. Another great opportunity in the college is our Manners organization, also known as Multiculturalism in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences organization. And this is where students can take part in promoting diversity in the fields of agriculture. So it's really meaningful work that our college does. It's a great way to get connected with your peers and get involved with an organization at the college level. All of these programs offer unique ways for new students to get involved with the college. And in some cases, like I mentioned, with career discovery groups, you can earn academic units. So please contact the UAP Dean's Office to join these programs or for more information. And also be on the lookout for events this fall. We're hoping that a lot of these can be in person because we're just so excited to get back in person and offer those opportunities for you all, like coffee with the dean, some ice cream socials, study breaks, and Slice of Advising, which is my favorite event, where we offer pizza and an opportunity to just casually get to know us, get to meet your peers. And so we're going to go ahead to the last slide, turn our cameras on one last time so you can see our faces. And we're going to transition to Q&A. So if you can't stay for that portion, it's totally okay. We understand. If you can, it would be a great opportunity to answer your questions. But we did want you to take a picture of this slide. It has Undergraduate Academic Programs Dean's Office, so it's in 150 Murat Hall. So when you come to campus, kind of just take the map out and look around and get yourself situated. It's going to be really fun. There's going to be so many students that spent all of last year online that also don't know where things are, so you're not alone. You can also reach us at CAES Advising at ucdavis.edu. that's where you can get in touch with our front desk team. They're great support. You can reach them Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5. And then we have a direct telephone number. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So that's where we have a lot of our events posted. So definitely check that out. And then entomology advising is in 150 Hutchison Hall. And there's that great email, ent-advise@ucdavis.edu, their telephone number, and then their website. So right now, I would definitely encourage you during the summer, probably not to utilize the phone numbers as much because it might not be consistent on who's in the office and who's not. So I would definitely start with the email. So those general emails. And we are now going to open it up to Q&A.